I used to be completely broke, not just financially, but mentally. Working tiny jobs, getting ignored, feeling useless, watching life pass me by. And if someone told me back then that one day I'd build multi-million-dollar companies, I would have never believed him. People think it was luck. It wasn't. It was a principle, a rule so powerful that once you understand it, it feels like you're cheating the game of life. In today, I'm going to show you the 5 rules that turn anyone from chasing money to attracting wealth automatically. Point 1. Stop chasing money. Start building skills that attract it. If you chase money, it runs. If you build rare skills, money chases you. The fastest way to get wealthy is to become someone the world cannot ignore. Most people spend their entire lives doing the exact opposite of what creates wealth. They run after money like hunters chasing an animal, desperate, exhausted, trying to grab whatever opportunity appears in front of them. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. Money avoids desperation. When you're chasing money, you're sending a signal. You're replaceable, you're ordinary. You're willing to take whatever you can get, and the world treats you exactly like that. Like someone who can be ignored. But everything changes the moment you stop chasing money and you start building skills that solve real problems. Because money isn't something you catch. Money is something you attract. When you become valuable, when you become skilled, people don't pay you because they like you. They pay you because they need you. And here's the breakthrough. Most people never understand. Money moves for only 3 reasons. Every dollar in the world moves because it does one of these things. It makes someone more money. It saves someone money. It saves someone time. That's it. Everything else is noise. If what you do doesn't hit one of those 3 outcomes, it will always be undervalued. But if you master a skill that hits one of those 3, you become unstoppable because you become useful. When I started, I was working over 100 hours a week doing 1,000 things badly, grinding endlessly, exhausted, stressed, trying to survive. But none of it mattered because I wasn't focused on building a high-value skill. I was just working hard without direction. The day everything changed was the day I asked myself, what skill can I master that people will pay a premium for? Not 10 skills. Not everything. 1 skill. I stopped trying to be everything for everybody and chose one specific ability. And I mastered it so deeply that it became rare. And here's what happened. Instead of working 100 hours per week, I started earning 100 times more money working half the time. Why? Because I wasn't selling hours anymore. I was selling expertise, something powerful and scarce. People don't pay for effort, they pay for certainty. Solutions, results, impact. When you have a rare skill, you don't chase clients, clients chase you. You don't beg for opportunities, opportunities fight to get to you. You don't compete, you dominate. Because there's one universal rule in business. It's better to be needed than liked. When people need you, when they truly depend on your skill, power flows to you naturally. Money becomes magnetized to you. That's how wealth is created. Not by trying harder, but by becoming so valuable that the world has no choice but to pay you. So here's the question only you can answer. What one skill can you choose right now that will make someone money, save someone money, or save someone time? Pick one, not someday, not next month. Today. Because the moment you stop chasing money and start building mastery, you walk through the doorway from being broke and replaceable to becoming wealthy and irreplaceable. Call to action for engagement. Comment 1 word below. What skill are you going to master to attract wealth? Write it, claim it, start it. Point 2. Monetize impact, not hours. If you're still trading time for money, you're building a prison, not wealth. The rich get paid for results, not hours. Here's one of the most painful truths in the world of success. Most skilled people stay broke, not because they're not talented, not because they don't work hard, but because they price themselves like beginners, that they spend years mastering a craft. And then they go out and sell the one thing they should never sell: their time. They charge by the hour, the day, the session, the project duration. And the moment they do, they voluntarily step into a cage with a ceiling they can never break. Think about it logically. If you sell time, your income can only grow one way: by working more hours. Even if you charged $10,000 per hour, which sounds insane, there are still only 24 hours in a day, which means your earning potential will always be limited. But here's the difference between wealthy people and everyone else. The wealthy don't sell time. They sell outcomes. They sell transformation. They sell results. They sell impact. People don't pay for the hours you spend. They pay for the effect those hours create. Let me explain this with a story. A massive factory machine breaks down. Every hour it's offline, the company loses thousands. An expert technician comes in, studies the machine for 5 minutes, takes a small hammer, taps one specific spot, and the whole system roars back to life. He hands the owner a bill for $10,000. The owner is furious. $10,000 for 5 minutes of work? And the technician says, it's $100 for the 5 minutes. It's $9,900 for knowing where to tap. That's the difference. One charges for time, the other charges for precision. Expertise, outcome. The first person becomes replaceable. The second becomes legendary. The moment I stopped selling time, everything changed. Instead of pricing myself by the hour, I priced my work based on the result it created. And suddenly, clients didn't negotiate anymore. People respected the value. I made more in one deal than most make in an entire year because people aren't buying the moment. They're buying the years of experience that made that moment possible. There are 3 steps to monetizing impact instead of hours. Step 1. Solve one specific problem, not 10 problems. Not a list of services. One problem with a guaranteed outcome. When you solve everything, people trust nothing. When you solve one thing better than everyone else, you become the only person they want. Step 2. Build a repeatable process. Impact is not random. It's engineered. Create a pathway that anyone can follow that reliably produces results. If you were only paid when the client succeeded, how would you build your process? That's how the wealthy think. Step 3. Price based on transformation. Not time. When you quote a price, don't talk about hours or workload. Talk about the money they'll earn from your solution, the time they'll save, the problems you'll eliminate, the future it builds for them. People don't buy coaching, they buy growth. They don't buy consulting, they buy profit. They don't buy design, they buy conversions. They don't buy marketing, they buy customers. The moment you shift from time to results, 50 doors open at once. Bigger clients, higher fees, fewer working hours, more respect, complete control over your life. When you sell time, the client owns you. When you sell results, you own the relationship. That's why people have paid 6 figures for an hour of my time. Not because of the hour, but because of what that hour creates. Anyone can work hard. Very few can create impact, and those who do become insanely wealthy. Final question: what outcome are you going to stop selling by the hour and start charging by the result? Comment one word below. Declare the transformation you provide. Point 3. Cash flow over cash piles. Asterisk. Getting rich once means nothing. Real wealth is when money keeps coming even when you stop working. Asterisk. Here's a lesson almost nobody understands until it's too late. Being rich once is easy. Staying rich is a skill. I know countless people who made money one time. Crypto wins. Real estate pops. A lucky investment. A trending product. They felt unstoppable. And then they lost everything just as fast as they got it. Why? Because they built a cash pile, not cash flow. A pile of money looks impressive. It flatters the ego. It feels powerful. But here's the truth. A pile can disappear overnight. A cash flow can last forever. I watched people get lucky during the crypto boom. They bought low, watched the numbers climb, bragged about being rich. Then the market dropped. Suddenly they were terrified to spend, terrified to move, terrified to live. Their life became a roller coaster of panic and false confidence. They weren't wealthy. They were hostages to a number on a screen. Real wealth is predictable, repeatable, consistent income. Money that arrives every month, every week, every day, automatically. Because if someone took everything away from me tomorrow, I could rebuild it, not because of luck, but because I've developed the skill to generate cash flow. Not once, but continuously. That is the difference between the wealthy and the lucky. The wealthy think in flows, not totals. A one-time $100,000 win feels exciting, but $10,000 a month in recurring income, that's power, that's stability, that's control. Predictability is the real flex. When you know money is coming in consistently, you can hire, you can invest, you can scale, you can plan your life intelligently. You're not gambling, you're engineering. This is why subscription models, retainers, memberships, and recurring products build empires, not launches, not one-time wins. One-time sales feed. Survival, recurring revenue builds. Freedom. The truth about most business failures. People think companies die because they're not profitable. Wrong. Die because they run out of cash. You can be profitable on paper and still fail in real life if you can't pay employees, suppliers, or bills. Paper money isn't real. Cash flow is. That's why billionaires don't obsess over net worth. They obsess over monthly cash flow output. For them, $100,000 a month flowing in is more valuable than $1 million sitting dead in a bank, because the person making $100,000 every 30 days becomes a millionaire. Every 10 months, forever. They control the system. The system prints money. Where most people fail, they never measure anything. Ask the average person, how much money did you make last month? They don't know. How much did you spend? No clue. What's your trend? Blank stare. The wealthy know their numbers like their heartbeat. They track everything. I receive a daily cash email from every company I own. Just the subject line tells me my financial position. I know. Revenue, expenses, profit margins, cash runway, growth trajectory. Knowledge is power, and most people refuse to look. That's why they stay broke, not by fate, but by blindness. 3 actions that change everything. 1. Check your cash every single day. Log in, look, no. 2. Score your money performance weekly. Rate yourself 1 to 10. Did you grow? Did you save? Did you invest? Did you plan? 3. Do a personal monthly P&L. Track your own numbers like a business. If you can't manage thousands, you'll never manage millions. The mindset shift. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 13. You see someone online making more than you and think you're losing, but you don't know how long they've been building. Don't compete with them. Compete with yesterday's version of you. The only numbers that matter are your numbers. Final engagement. Comment 1 word below. Are you tracking your cash flow or ignoring it? Say tracking or ignoring. Point 4. Use money as a tool, not a trophy. Money isn't the goal. Freedom is. If your money isn't buying back your time, you're not wealthy. You're trapped. One of the greatest misunderstandings about wealth is this idea that money itself is the finish line. People grind for years trying to collect as much money as they can, thinking the number in the bank is the victory. But here's the truth. Almost nobody learns until they've wasted decades chasing the wrong thing. Asterisk, asterisk, money is not the destination. Money is the tool. The destination is freedom. Asterisk, asterisk, I once knew a man who worked endlessly. 6, sometimes 7 days a week. Long nights, early mornings, constant stress. He ran a small business and built a pile of cash, hidden in drawers, boxes, plastic bags around his house. His son thought he was rich. Everyone around him thought he was rich. But here's what nobody saw. He wasn't free. He never rested. He never traveled. He never enjoyed his family. He never lived. He had money, but money had him. He spent his entire life collecting pieces of paper and traded away the one thing he could never get back. Time. That's not wealth. That's a prison with a shiny floor. Real wealth is measured in hours, not dollars. You can have millions in the bank and still be enslaved if you're working 70 hours a week with no control over your life, and you can have far less money and be completely free if you've learned to buy back your time. This is what wealthy people understand that the struggling never do. Freedom isn't in your bank account. Freedom is in your calendar. Money is useless if it doesn't increase your time, your energy, and your choices. So the purpose of money is simple. Buy back the hours of your life. The wealthy use money differently. Rich people who look rich spend money to appear successful. Luxury cars, shiny watches, designer clothes, trophies for ego. Wealthy people use money to remove themselves from the tasks that drain their time. They hire assistants, operators, managers, strategists, teams, automation systems, because they're lazy, but because they understand leverage. Asterisk, asterisk. If you're doing work that anyone can do, you're not building wealth, you're maintaining a job. Asterisk, asterisk A. Self-employed person tries to do everything themselves to save money and stays stuck forever. An owner uses money to buy time so they can do the things only they can do. Vision, strategy, leadership, creativity, big decisions, building systems. That's where exponential wealth begins. The real difference between the rich and the wealthy: an employee trades time for money. The self-employed trade more time for more money, and the wealthy buy time to create money. That's the game. You are not paid for how hard you work. You are paid for how intelligently you deploy resources. Asterisk. Asterisk, money is a tool for multiplication, not decoration. Asterisk, asterisk, when you hire others, you gain 10x more time. You gain 10x more output. You gain 10x more opportunity. That's why I spend aggressively on buying back hours of my life. People think it's wasteful. They say, you could just do that yourself. Exactly. And that's the problem. Because if I waste time doing tasks someone else could do, I lose the chance to do the things only I can. And those things are worth millions. The paradox of wealth. The more money you spend buying back your time, the more money you make. Because now, you're not exhausted, you're not distracted, you're not buried in operational chaos hour thinking. You're building, you're creating, you're leading. That's where real wealth lives. Asterisk, asterisk, wealth isn't earned by working harder. It's earned by thinking better. Asterisk, asterisk, ask yourself this: if you gained 40 extra hours every week, what would you do with them? Would you build, learn, create, spend time with family, start something new, improve your health, grow mentally and spiritually? Because that's the real treasure. Money gives you time and time gives you life. Final engagement comment, one word below. If you had 40 hours of freedom every week, what would you do? Write it, claim it, own the direction you're building toward. Point 5. Build systems that make money without you. If your income stops when you stop working, you're not free, you're trapped. Real wealth is when money keeps flowing, even while you sleep. We've talked about building skills, monetizing impact, mastering cash flow, and using money to buy back time. But now we reach the final principle that separates people who become wealthy from those who never escape the grind. You must build systems that generate money without depending on you. Most people spend their lives building an income stream that collapses the moment they stop working. The second they take a break, their money stops too, and that's not freedom. That's a trap dressed as success. You're not wealthy if you have to be there every day to make money. You're wealthy when money continues to move, even if you disappear for 6 months. That's the turning point. Stop being the engine. Start building the machine. Why most people never escape, most entrepreneurs never scale because they try to do everything themselves. They call it hard work, but it's actually control addiction. They're scared to delegate. They're scared to hire. They're scared to let go. So they become the bottleneck in their own business. They think they're building a company, but they're really building a cage. Asterisk, asterisk. If your business needs you, you don't own a business, you own a job. Asterisk, asterisk, and jobs don't scale. Systems do. The wealthy build machines they replace themselves with. People, automations, technology, processes, teams. Their real work becomes designing the system, improving the system, leading the system, running the system alone. Leverage is the code that prints wealth. You multiply yourself through others, through tools, through structure. That's when growth becomes exponential instead of linear. How wealth is actually created. Here's the formula the wealthy follow. Build a valuable skill. Turn that skill into an outcome-based product or service. Convert that product into recurring and predictable cash flow. Use the cash to hire people and buy back your time. Build systems that run without you. And once the system works without your personal effort, every minute you're not working is still making money. That's the moment where life changes. You stop thinking like a worker. You start thinking like an owner. You stop trading time for money. You start trading ideas for equity. You stop grinding. You start building. The game becomes unfair when you're operating from energy instead of exhaustion, from strategy instead of survival, from focus instead of chaos. You start seeing opportunities others are too tired to notice. You make moves they can't understand. You scale while they struggle. You compound while they stall. And the world looks at you and says, "It's not fair." It's like you're cheating the system. And you'll smile because the truth is, you're not cheating the system. You're playing the system better than they ever learned to. Question that will change your life. Ask yourself right now. Asterisk, asterisk, if I disappeared for 90 days, would my money stop? Or would it grow? Asterisk, asterisk. If the answer is stop, you're still in the trap. If the answer is grow, you're building wealth. The goal isn't to work forever. The goal is to build something that works forever. Machines build empires. Systems build freedom. Owners build futures. And that's when you win the game. Final engagement. Comment one word below. What system are you going to build? Right system, team, automation, subscription, or your own word. Declare it, because saying it is the first brick in building it. Asterisk. Closing. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. If you're tired of watching other people win while you stay stuck, remember this. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. You now have the blueprint. 5 principles that can turn anyone from broke and uncertain to powerful, valuable, and unstoppable. The question isn't can you do it? The question is will you? If this message hit you, if even one idea changed the way you think, then don't just leave silently. Comment below the one thing you learned from this video and commit to it publicly, because action begins with ownership. And before you go, subscribe to Silent Crew, where we build wealth quietly, think differently, and rise without asking for permission. Your future starts now. Make your move.